Nicole Whitney, News for the Soul, life-changing talk radio from the uplifting to the unexplained. It's a great honor to have you on the show tonight. Welcome, Deepak Chopra.
Thank you.
Yes, this is Uri.
Hi, Uri. It's Nicole Whitney calling News for the Soul. Welcome to News for the Soul, Robert Allen.
Thank you, Nicole. It's great to be here with you tonight.
Why are you here? We're talking to Carolyn Mace about Sacred Contracts, one of her many best-selling books. Welcome to the show, Greg Braden.
Well, good evening, Nicole. It's certainly a pleasure to hear your voice and a pleasure to be here tonight.
Welcome to the show, Stuart Wilde.
Thank you very much.
John Kehoe, welcome to News for the Soul.
Hey, how are you?
Next up, Dr. David Morehouse.
I'm so glad that you called me because you are doing such an important task, important work, because you are spreading a very positive message.
I was really moved by last week's show because we made a commitment to a worldwide event to try to change consciousness.
I'm feeling enormous energy around this show. Just enormous. I really have to hand it to you, Nicole. You've created sort of a niche of amazing connections. It's just like the angels and the devatas that are like attracted to News for the Soul is amazing.
Yes, we love News for the Soul. Hear all of our previously aired broadcasts of News for the Soul online at newsforthesoul.com. Now let's get back to the show.
It's a Saturday, but we're live. Ta-da! I'm Nicole Marie Whitney. This is News for the Soul, life-changing talk radio from the uplifting to the unexplained. And I'm here to introduce you to Abigail Pattman. It's just live for the first time. In the next hour, you're going to get to know her story and why she came to do, how she came to do what she does, which is she's a certified practitioner in Reiki, tarot reading, theta healing, holographic kinetics, which is interesting. I don't think we've talked about that one yet on the show in our 19 years, and spiritual coaching. But she has a unique, humorous, down-to-earth approach. You're going to love Abigail Pattman. Here she is now. Abigail, welcome to News for the Soul.
Hi. Great to speak to you again.
Good to hear your voice. And I forgot to announce where you're based out of.
I am based in Thailand. I'm in Koh Samui. So at the moment I'm sat on my porch and it's 11 p.m.
Beautiful. I think maybe the second. We don't have a lot of hosts in Thailand, so you're already special in that way, but here's where we want to start, is at the beginning. I just want to check the levels. Can you hear me all right?
I can.
Okay, good.
And you?
Yeah, you want to make sure you're just speaking right into the microphone. It's a little bit fuzzy. Well, not fuzzy, but just a little bit far away. Maybe it's because you are far away.
How is it sounding now? I've just turned the volume up.
Yeah, crank it. Perfect. Excellent. Much better.
It's cranked.
Okay, so we want to start with our the question where the place that brings us all together. The first question I always ask people is, we all have this moment of first experience with something that's beyond the 3D physical that we were originally told at some point in our life, where we're, that real awakening moment when more is going on beyond a shadow of a doubt. What was your first moment?
My first moment that I remember, I was about 4 years old, and I was lying in bed and I couldn't sleep. And I used to kind of lie there and wait for my mum to come up the stairs. I don't know why, but I was always waiting for that. But I also wasn't a happy child. I remember at 4 wondering why I was here. I actually didn't like being here. And I used to say, why am I here? What am I doing here? What's my purpose? I don't understand this place, because I thought humans were quite cruel. I just didn't really understand humans. And a little Native American man appeared in front of me. He was maybe the same size as the hologram in Princess Leia. And I kind of blinked, and I watched him fire an arrow, and he kind of ran through midair And I was very peaceful after that. And from that point, I just felt there was something else out there. And I stayed with that feeling throughout my life. I knew this wasn't it, if that makes sense.
Can you tell me more about who you think he was?
I never knew who he was as in a name, but as I got older, maybe I was about 21, these things started happening to me, and I couldn't explain it at the time. I would see feathers everywhere, and my grandparents went on holiday, and they brought back a fridge magnet with Native Americans on it, and they started appearing in adverts, and it was kind of all around me. And then I got led to my first ever tarot reading. And the first thing that the tarot reader said when he saw me walk over to him was, I can see 2 or 3 Native Americans around you right now, and they're trying to contact you. Are you dreaming about them? And I'd had 2 or 3 dreams. And he started to talk about a past life and how I'd existed as a medicine woman in a past life. And he did talk about the Joseph Nez Perce tribe. It was all very mystical for me. I was 21. I just burst into tears because I thought I was going mad. And at the time, I had braided hair and pierced nose, and he was showing me pictures, and there was a lot of similarities to how I was dressed. So it kind of really sort of escalated from that age. That was another point where a lot of mystical things were happening for me.
So interesting. I told that exact same thing, that I have native guides, 2 of them. Maybe we work together. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, I have read somewhere that a lot of neo-indigenous people are now here trying to help this planet.
All right, I think I'm back now. Are you still on the line? Nope. She dropped as well. Yeah, we got hit by a wave there. Holy smokes. Okay, let's try now. Abigail, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I'm here.
We got hit by a wave. Boom. Off we went. Holy smokes. Everybody went. Wow. That often happens when we mention the native aspect, by the way. Interesting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I find that very powerful.
Let's move on to the next bit.
Okay, good idea.
We'll leave that. We'll leave that bit. So here you're in your 20s and you're pierced and you're being told all these things. What did that lead to next?
It didn't lead that far, actually. He actually told me I would be in and out of the spiritual world for a while, but it would really only be very concrete in my 40s. And that's really what happened. I mean, I was always sort of in touch, in communication, but I didn't really have the support around me or know where to go or develop the abilities that I had. So I went back into, I always call it the matrix, but I just went back into the world and continued doing what I was doing. I was quite self-destructive at the time, so I led quite a rock and roll life.
So how did all that lead back?
Well, at 24, I was actually in Ibiza. I was partying, but at 24, a friend of mine gave me a book called The Celestine Prophecy, and I began to read about energy and synchronicities and how we can give energy, how we can also drain energy. And I couldn't put the book down. I read it in a day on the beach. And from there, I couldn't actually believe, I don't know if you've read The Celestine Prophecy, but I couldn't believe there could be something like the Ninth Insight. But we've
actually interviewed him on camera, the author, in the middle of New Mexico. It was surreal. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I love his book. This book was the first book that put me on my path, because after that, I had a couple of experiences where I really saw this world on a higher vibration. And it was absolutely incredible. And that was at 26. And all I could describe it as was the Celestine Prophecy thing, because it also happened at sunrise and sunset. I had 2 different experiences, and the world just kind of melted in front of me. And it was sparkling and vibrating and humming and moving. So from that, I was given some very clear messages. At one point, I was in Australia and I was told I had to go home. And so I booked my plane flight. I'd only been in Australia 2 weeks. I booked my plane flight and went home and continued what I needed to finish in England before I left.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to ask. While that was all going on, were you still, before you even found his book, I mean, you had that vision when you were young. Did any of those things happen before you came back to the conscious lifestyle?
All of the awakenings I had that were really powerful were when I was pretty unconscious. It's kind of ironic and quite funny, really. I had to do the work afterwards. I mean, when I booked the one-way ticket to Thailand and I knew I was leaving, I'd actually had a Kundalini awakening, but I didn't know what that was. So if I'd stayed on that vibration, I would have got locked away, I think. I was running around calling everyone, telling them that life was amazing and there was so much more out there. And, I was completely ungrounded for a few days. But I knew I had to leave England. I absolutely knew from that experience. And then I had to go. I mean, basically, I started a very large path of self-healing and began to embrace the abilities that I had and find out about being empathic. And I'm also a claircognizant, so I just know things, which can be a bit spooky for some people.
Yes, but it's also fun. Actually, it's funny. I really relate to a lot of your aspects. I'm a very similar path. I didn't know about any of this stuff either throughout all that period of when the healing begins. But what led to your Kundalini awakening?
That was pretty special. I didn't really know what it was. Like I said, I had no idea of spiritual phrases or any of this stuff. It was actually because my dad passed away. So he had terminal cancer, and I really feel that is why I was told to go home from Australia, because that was at the age of 26. So I was back in the UK for 5 years. When he got cancer the second time, the first time I hadn't been there for him. I wasn't close to him. I loved him, but we had a lot of issues. So the first time I wasn't really around, and he nearly died. And that was when I was 24. I was too busy in my own little world of self-destruct. And so something in me, when I found out he nearly died and the realization that I had not even been there for him, I think I visited him once in hospital. So it was like a voice inside me said, you don't do that again. That's not how you do things. Next time he gets it, for some reason I knew it was coming back, you're going to be there. And I had actually moved 45 minutes away from him. I'd moved to London. So when it came back, what I did was I spent half a week with my father nursing him and helping care for him. And I used to work on weekends. So he was in a hospice by this point, and obviously he was in a coma, and we knew he wasn't going to recover from that. And I was, it was very strange. I was outside. I think I was drinking a brandy. I was on the phone to a friend. And as I came walking into the hospice, my stepmom was just looking at me. And there was something about her look, and it felt like time had slowed. It was very, very bizarre. It was almost like we'd already spoken before we spoke. It was like there was an agreement there. It was one of those moments where you know something's about to happen. And she just looked at me and she said, you have to tell him to leave. He'd been in a coma for days and he'd suffered so much. She said, you're the one that he listened to when he was ill, so it's up to you. And something in me felt very old and wise, which wasn't my normal state, just knew that was what I had to do. And although I had no experience or knowledge of this sort of thing, I've later read about it in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and there used to be people that journeyed people onto the next plane. So I walked into the hospice, I walked into the room, and just held his hand. And immediately I felt like I'd gone into a trance. My breathing changed. I mean, I understand yoga breath now, but my breathing changed into a complete deep belly breathing. And I began to speak to him inside my head. And I went to every single relative in the room. And I said, they love you, but it's time to leave. It's time to go now, Dad. And I knew he wasn't in his body as well. I knew he was kind of flying around somewhere. So what actually happened was it was almost like I could see relatives. I couldn't see them in person, but I could see where he'd been brought up as a child. I knew I could see the farm. And what I did see was the dogs that he used to own. He loved dogs. And it was like the animals were coming to say hello. And I could feel myself getting more and more excited. It was almost like my eyes were beginning to roll to the back of my head. And I just knew what to do. And I suddenly realized that he couldn't leave because he didn't have the energy to leave. That's why there's so many stories about people passing when someone goes to the toilet or leaves the room, because basically our energy can keep people earthbound. So there are 8 relatives around the bed. And so basically I told him to use my body. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just told him to use my body. And it was almost as if there was a series of popping. There was all of this energetic stuff going on. My eyes were flickering. I felt like they were pointing backwards. And he came up through my body. His spirit left up through my body, and that's how I had a Kundalini awakening.
Oh,
so
my.
I actually, I felt like it was so bizarre, because when I came back, I realized that I was in this room and all these people were crying. It was like I'd fainted, and so disorientated. It was very surreal to realize, oh, my dad just died. That was what went through my head. And then I opened my eyes and people were hugging each other, and his last breath was leaving his body. And
wow.
That was his passing. Of course, it looked really odd because I had the biggest smile on my face ever. And everyone else was in grief. And I'm in bliss. I was exploding with this energy. And that lasted for 3 days, this really, really high vibration. It didn't stop the grieving. I knew that there was somewhere else. I knew my dad was safe. I knew he'd passed, but it never stopped my grieving. I went through a big grief process with my father.
Well, which makes sense. I mean, yes, they're passed to somewhere. We're not seeing them now, so people are going through that. But, wow. So how did you deal with that over the next while?
Very badly. For the first 3 days, I was so high, I couldn't sleep. I was ecstatic. The bliss I was in was unbelievable. But what I did was I drank a lot of wine and smoked a lot of cigarettes. It was over. And then what I did, and then after that, I did sign up for a course at the College of Psychic Studies. I also knew that I had to leave the UK. So I was in debt from my father, looking after him. I had to stay another 11 months to work that off. And as soon as I got the chance, I left. Just before I left, though, a few months before, I had this feeling that I had to go to Thailand. And I visited a lady that channeled angels, really amazing lady. And she took one look at me when I walked into the room. And the first thing that she said was, "What are you doing here? Your karma's not here. You're supposed to be in Thailand. You're going to travel around Asia and work in a spa, and you've got healing energy. What are you doing?" And that was another moment where I burst into tears, because the feeling and the calling that I had was so strong, but I didn't trust it. And it was from that reading with this lady that I really propelled myself forward. And I knew when I booked my ticket to Thailand, I made it a one-way ticket. I knew I wasn't going home.
Wow. That's full commitment, eh? Full commitment.
I wasn't very happy. It was quite easy.
But I love how it's so authentic when we're not front loaded and we experience these things, and I'm just very much relate to your story because I was pretty much kicking and screaming the whole way as well. But I didn't think of the wine thing, though. That was smart. It's very intense stuff. So you end up in Thailand. Now what happens?
Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I've just got this backpack, and I was really completely naive. The backpack I thought was broken. This was very funny when I found this out. I thought it was broken because I couldn't find the arms on it. I thought I'd lost the arms. It took me 2 weeks to realize there was this compartment in the back of the backpack that you unzipped, and the arms fell through. So I
There's a metaphor
very
in
badly
there somewhere.
I mean, I was there with my heels and my hair straighteners, and it was kind of entertaining. But I spent 3 days wandering around Chiang Mai in Thailand, knowing that I wasn't in the right place, and also knowing that I needed to do something about me and the state I was in. And I was looking for a retreat. And at the time, there wasn't really many sort of internet stations or anything. You didn't have smartphones. So there was one internet in the entire airport of Bangkok. And I'd been sat there for a while looking for retreat, and there was nothing for retreats. If I'd looked for spas, I would have found somewhere straight away, but that wasn't the way. And a girl that was behind me told me off for spending too long on the computer. So I'd already booked a ticket to Koh Samui, but I was actually sat in the waiting room when this girl turned up again, and we'd obviously annoyed each other, but we both started laughing. And she sat down next to me and said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "Where are you going?" She said, "I'm going to a spa. I'm doing a detox." And that was it. I was on the plane with her. I shared her room that night, and then I was there doing a detox in this spa, and things just moved from there. I mean, I live very close to this spa, and I still work there. So,
what kind of cleanse?
It was a fast. I actually fasted for 7 days. It was very uncomfortable. I cried the first time I had to do a kalima. I don't know if you know much about those. They're not much fun.
No.
And
what is it?
It's like a colonic, but you do it yourself.
Ah, God. Jesus.
So you have a little room, and you have to stick you have like this caffeine water, and you literally flush your intestines out. So the first thing that I was doing at this spa was I was fasting, taking herbal supplements, and doing kalimas for 7 days to kind of clean myself, because I knew that I was extremely toxic and I had to do something about that. I'd partied and used and drunk alcohol all of my life. Ever since I could remember, it was my escape was to get high somehow. But leading from the spa, I mean, I fell in love with this place because all of a sudden I was meeting holistic alternative people, and it felt normal to me. It felt right. No one questioned the experiences I was having or told me I was mad. So that was fantastic. And I did a lot of traveling. The first thing that happened was I went to Australia, and I was kind of stuck there. I ran out of money, and I was waitressing, and it wasn't the grand plans I had for my traveling. I had a lot of issues at home. I'd rented out my apartment, and the estate agents or the letting agents were sharks. So I lost all my savings. So there I was in Australia, and I went for a tarot reading and got talking with the girl, and she taught me the tarot. I fell in love with the tarot. It was the first time I ever studied anything and loved it. I was writing about them. I was eating, sleeping, breathing tarot. I mean, every card became like a little person to me. And I was doing my homework. I was the best student anyone could ever wish for, probably the only time in my life. And when I came back from Australia, I went back. When I came back from Australia, I went back to the spa, and the tarot reader was leaving. And all of a sudden, I had a job as a tarot reader. It was that simple. I was so scared. I didn't trust myself with what I was doing. But as soon as I had the cards out, I was in a different place, and the information just flowed. So that was how the beginnings of what I do started. It started with the tarot, and I still have the same cards.
Why was tarot so important?
I don't know. I know that I got the cards. I was doing a promotion job, and the manager, so I was a promotions girl, and I was selling subscriptions to a magazine called Prediction, because even when I was back in London, things were finding me. It was all coming to me. And I couldn't put the cards down. The cards went with the free prescription. I was in love with the cards. At the end of the show, he turned around, he said, those cards belong to you. You need to take them. So I took them traveling with me. Even though I was intuitive, I didn't know the other side of the tarot, which is pretty amazing with the astrology and the numerology. And so when this woman, it kind of, there's a logic to tarot as well as the channeling side. So when I learned them, to me, it was just the most fascinating thing I'd ever learned.
So you started reading and doing that. What came next?
I did a Reiki. I'm certified in Reiki, but I'm only certified in Reiki 1 because then things changed from that. I then went to India. That was a few years later. And by the time I was in India, I had a series of events that led me to a German lady, of all people. I thought I was going to meet some Indian guru, and I ended up meeting a German lady. She had white hair, very pale blue eyes, and I told her a dream, and that was it. She got very upset with me for not telling her before. I've been hanging out with her for a week, and told me she was my teacher, and she was an angel channeler, and she taught me how to channel, and we worked with the angels. From there, I went back to the spa because I was beginning to realize that Thailand was my home, Koh Samui was my home, because that's where I kept going back. And from there, I was teaching a tarot workshop maybe a year or two later. I was too shy to actually do any of the work that I had learned. It was a year or two later that one of my students asked me if I could do that angel thing I was talking about. And it happened to be something called soul retrieval, which I knew nothing about. And I did. I put my hands on her. And the first 2 or 3 sessions that I had were like wake-up calls for me. And the people went into spasms and all sorts of things happened. And suddenly people were turning up on my doorstep asking me to work on them. It was a day later I picked up a book and turned a page, and it was all about soul retrieval. For me, I learned everything intuitively first, and then the information came.
Wow, which is cool because very validating.
Yes. Apart from it scared me, so I ran away to Bali.
The healing happening. Yeah. What happened next?
I ran away to Bali to disappear because I was scared of this energy, and I didn't, because the healings were quite large. There was somebody that had Lyme's disease, and it was literally ripped from his body. And this doesn't happen all the time, by the way. The first 3 healings are huge, but it was a wake-up call for me. So while I was hiding in Bali, because I didn't want lots of people coming to see me, I met someone that took one look at me and said, "Have you had a soul retrieval?" And I said, "No." So he took me for a healing, gave me a soul retrieval, and then introduced me to theta healing. And then I spent the next maybe 2 years completely and utterly involved with theta healing. That became my life then. That was my new tarot. And I learned about limiting beliefs, how to take care of my energy. I really loved learning theta healing. It was a huge part of my path.
Right place.
Yes, even when I was trying to escape.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing how it works.
It is amazing because I was kicking and screaming the whole way, because obviously when you begin to work with energy, it brings things up for you. You have to work on yourself. And there were a lot of really tough things that I had to work on to continue on my path. And as soon as I started working with this energy and connecting with angels, that was when a lot of troubles started for me on an emotional level, and repressed memories and all sorts of things from my childhood. So life got very tough at the same time, it was also very rewarding. And when I was tuned in and I was working on people, the connection I had was very, very pure. It was always with me. But emotionally, I was a train wreck.
So what kinds of work did you do on that?
I had to do, well, where do I start with this one? It's quite large. I had memories that began to surface when I was around 33. And at first, I didn't really understand them. I would have mystics work on me or people that were working on me talking to me about black magic. And I didn't have a clue what they were talking about. I had no idea. And then I remember when my father was dying, I remember him. I mean, he had a whole thing with Aleister Crowley. And he used to talk about, there was one really, really dark moment when he brought up that in black magic you ate babies. I remember that. And I remember my stepmom shouting at him to shut up. And he had a brain tumor. He had cancer everywhere, and it was also on his brain. So we just assumed he was going a bit mad, like you do. And in England, we've got this black sense of humor sort of comedy thing, or you kind of bypass a lot of things or repress a lot of things. So I didn't really look at it seriously, but this really kind of dark energy started to enter my life. And then I began to realize that it wasn't normal to have nightmares every night. And it wasn't normal to be woken up at night and feel like your body was being held down. And I started to realize that my life was pretty dark. And that's when Stewie started to come in my life, Stuart Wilde. And I began to read about entities and, oh my God, all of that stuff, which obviously scared the life out of me. And from there, these memories started to come back. And they never came back in a very clear way. They just came back as trauma. So as the first memories started to come back, I also had heavy metal poisoning. That was from fill-in due to my childhood. I'd done some kind of cleanse and I got it a bit wrong and I ended up quite ill. But as this trauma started to come back, it came back in just huge chunks of fear. My hair started to fall out. I started to lose weight. I actually had malnutrition. I wasn't digesting food. I'd gone yellow. My liver was in trouble. I had a really good doctor that helped me, and obviously I was in the right place holistically. And that was the beginnings of realizing that something really bad had happened in my childhood, but I didn't know what. And then it grew from there. I mean, the theta healing was great, but it wasn't changing whatever was going on within me. It would only hold for a certain amount of time. And so from there, I think I did another running away sort of kind of mission, and I disappeared back to Australia. And from there, I found another sequence of events. I was reading tarot at a fair in Australia. I'd found this really amazing Aborigine guy that had taken me under his wing. And there was a massage lady that just took one look at me. And she said to me, I have this book and I knew I had to bring it with me because I was supposed to give it to someone and it's you. And she gave me a book on exorcisms. And I read the book, and by the time I finished the book, by the time I finished the book, I was like, right, I'm possessed. I'm being haunted here. There's something wrong. This is not normal. I was close to suicide. I'd self-harmed all of my life, and I'd also spent a lot of time, like I said, numbing everything. So really being out of my body and high if I could. I was either high or depressed. So as all of this self-healing came, so did all of these. I had to literally face my demons. It was a big thing. And so she gave me this book, and then she recommended me someone. And I went for I begged. These people that were doing the healing had stopped. It was a husband and wife. They didn't want to do anymore. I literally pleaded with them on the phone and begged with them for them to see me. I said, you don't understand how I'm being attacked. It's on all levels. And so I ended up having this healing. It was absolutely amazing. Found a lot of things, had a lot of nasty things removed from me. And at the end of it, I remember the next day waking up, and it was the first night I'd had a decent night's sleep for such a long time. And I had my iPod on shuffle, and I just pressed play, and the first thing that came on was the Beatles song. I think, It's Okay, It's a New Day. I just remember it was so beautiful, and I felt so light. And in that time, I also found out that holographic kinetics was a 45-minute drive away from me, and the guy was about to do another course. So I called him and told him that I was in Australia and I'd been taken to him and I needed to learn this system. So that was holographic kinetics using Aborigine Dreamtime healing. And from there, I learned about timelines. I learned about energies. I learned about what gets on your energy. And it went very into the conspiracy side of things about energies that are really corrupting what's happening on Earth. So I went into the realm of draconians and reptilians, and we never used the word exorcist in holographic kinetics, but basically that's what I became because I was angry. And at the time, obviously things have changed for me, but at the time it seemed like I had this choice, which was suicide because that's how bad my life had got, or to fight. So then I went from this gentle, loving, theta healing energy to this kind of hardcore sort of, right, we'll go in there and we'll remove now. And I learned how to clear these things, and I got to meet them. I mean, they'd been with me all my life, so I actually got to know these energies quite well. And I did that for 2 or 3 years until it became, it was like I thought I was Buffy, and it's very ego-orientated.
Yeah. It was reclaiming your power.
I guess so. I mean, I started off full of anger and fear, and then it got to the point where it became very mundane. It was like I was doing it every day. People were coming to see me from other areas of the world just to have these things cleared from them. And it became mundane. And then I actually began to start having compassion. And that was when it got really strange. I realized that these energies are full of hate, full of jealousy, corrupted, twisted, and they're using us and our energy almost like food. So I then began to have a lot of compassion, and I kind of began to make my peace in a way with that side of things. It didn't help. It helped hugely with cleaning my energy and removing things and clearing my karma. But it didn't help with the fact that finally I decided that I was going to have to not stay out of the story. I was going to have to address the fact that I'd been used in rituals, because this was what was coming up over and over again. And once I started to look into that, I then began to read about what happens and the outcomes, and I realized that I had a personality disorder called dissociation personality disorder. And obviously I was reliving post-traumatic stress on a daily basis. So then I had to go into even more healing. And finally, I got myself a really good therapist. And I had to work on my inner child and all of that stuff. Very, very powerful stuff. And the lady that I've got, very much like the Wild West, a trained psychologist but understands working on the spiritual self, and cutting edge, understands, very, very well about energy as well as how the mind works and the subconscious. So I then had to rewire my subconscious, which kind of has brought me through to today in a way.
So how does that all come together in what you do today?
Well, I started to do everything that I do with the pendulum. I started to clear things with the pendulum. I work through the energy bodies, the chakras, even the endocrine system now, and the vagus nerve. I just love it. I'm growing all the time with what I do. It comes in very powerfully because what happened to me when I was small, it actually interfered and completely damaged every energy center I had, every meridian. I was like a sponge for anything negative. And so I had to rebuild myself. It was like Humpty Dumpty. I had to rebuild myself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, on every level. So it really works with what I do today, because I'm very good at putting people back together again. And I'm also a networker, so if I feel that they've got a lot of emotional trauma, then I will refer them to the lady that I worked with, because I can't do everything. And if I see that someone's in need of a different healer, different kind of person, then I will do that. But for me, bringing people into their power, into alignment, into focus, clearing the negative energy that's on them they don't even know they have, that's kind of, it's like I'm built for it. I'm hardwired for it. And emotional trauma for me is something that I've been through so much myself that it's very easy for me to hold space with someone else, because I can journey with them and hold that space. When you've been where I've been to clear what I've cleared, you kind of, it's like you're a kind of fortress of energy. You end up very solid if you do the right work, that is.
Mhm. Yeah, well, it's been quite a journey. Let's start. I'm just keeping one eyeball on the time. Where would you go as far as your next show? You know, are you thinking group processes or one-on-one processes? What's possible?
I've been thinking about that, and I've got lots of ideas. I haven't really come up with a major one for next week, because I also guide meditation, and I can do group healings in guided meditation. So that's one thing that I would like to do. Another thing, though, I'd like to do is maybe questions and answers, and I can really work with people online and talk to them about what's happening and explain what's going on with their energy bodies. I'm very good at explaining things while I'm also waving my pendulum around clearing. So I haven't quite hit on what to do yet. I'm wondering if you've got any suggestions listening to me, because I'm sure you have the experience here to help.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's coming through for me is group processes for sure. You've just got so much unique layers in your journey that, we want to kind of best leverage upon that to help as many as we can. That's coming up for sure. My question was, if I phone in, I'm talking to you, are you able to, over the phone, on the air, tell me if there's something going on with my energy body? Are you able to do that?
Yes. I do a lot of Skype healing. So, as you know, there's no time or distance with energy. So,
right.
It's just connecting in with the person that I'm working on. And then literally I go through the energy bodies and I say what's happening, and then I start to do the clearing. And also then messages will come through, because I also channel. And sometimes, depending on the issue that I'm working with, it can be a straight clearing, but it can also go past life. It can go ancestry. It can go in any direction. Everyone's different.
Okay.
So yes,
well,
I can do that.
Do you want to do like a mini example one? I'll put myself out there, and so people get a vibe of what to expect for next time.
Sure. Okay. Let me just get my pendulum. And
so what do I need to do? Do I need to think about something, or not think about anything, or?
No, you're fine. You can carry on talking to me.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to tune in now. I'm just getting my pendulum ready, and I'm going to ask. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to go through is your energy bodies. Just as an explanation, if you imagine the Russian dolls that you unclip, and you've got one inside the other, well, that's how we are formed, for me, with how I work, because I know there's so many different systems. So the first thing I'm doing is connecting in with your higher self, and then I go into your soul, which is fantastic. Your astral body is not fantastic. Are you tired? What's your sleep like?
Yeah, it's not great. Not great.
Okay. Emotionally, you're great. Mentally, you're great. Physically, so I'm just going down into the energy bodies. Okay, so with the energy bodies, it's the astral body, which is really common, because an astral body can come out of alignment from trauma. It can be out for a long time, from an accident. It can also be from bad sleep or a plane flight. I've got the privilege of working on myself all the time, so mine pops out quite a lot if I've had a bad night's sleep or I'm feeling cranky. Okay, Earth Star Chakra. Do you know the Earth Star Chakra? It's below your feet.
No.
This is my favorite chakra. I get excited about chakras. So the Earth Star Chakra for me is the most important one for grounding people and anchoring them to this earth and helping people to basically diffuse their emotions. So that one for you needs some work and some clearing. I'm just going through, all your other chakras are great. You've been doing a lot of healing on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So also I'm just coming into your endocrine system because I like to just see what's going on before I do anything. So I'm looking at your hypothalamus. Pituitary gland's good, but your hypothalamus is like kind of out. That, for me, I find a lot with people that have an astral body that's out of alignment because, that's a melatonin center.
Oh.
So it makes perfect sense. Also, your thyroid. So basically what I'm doing when I do this stuff is I'm just clearing all of this so the body can align and work again. And it feels good when we're aligned and focused. So lymph system is good. Stomach. What's going on with your stomach?
A lot. A lot.
Yeah, it's not happy. It's not happy. And also your adrenals and your nervous system. Vagus nerve is good. So, what I would do while I'm talking to you is I've just checked through, but I want to move as quickly as I can with you, obviously. I don't know how much time we have left. So the first thing I do is I'm doing what's called a big swoop, which is I've got a shungite pendulum. Now, it's called shungite if you're Russian. I pronounce it really badly, so I apologize if anyone Russian is listening to this. It's an amazing pendulum. It really works on clearing negative energy. So the first thing I'm doing is what I call the big swoop, which means that I'm moving this pendulum around your energy fields now, and I'm working on everything. I'm just taking off, you could call it the excess of anything. So emotions, things that get stuck, stagnant energy in all of the bodies. So I do the big swoop first, which is what I'm doing now. And I didn't check, there's a couple of things I want to check. I just want to make sure I'm connected in while I'm working with this. I'm going to go into your astral body now. Some people feel this, some people don't. It depends how sensitive you are. People usually feel the Earth Star Chakra because it's almost like they're being pulled down into their feet or their feet start tingling. But it's really important to have the astral body in alignment. So, yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm in your astral body. Okay. And I'm just moving around that.
It's amazing that we can do this.
It's amazing. I'm just curious. Do you only have 5 hours sleep a night or something? Are you a very light sleeper? It's just interesting what I'm picking up here.
It takes me forever to get to sleep, and then if my dog makes a little sound in the night or something, I wake up and I have to go through it all again. It's terrible.
Yeah, I feel like your spirit or your astral body, it needs to go somewhere to rest at night, and it feels
to me like you're not.
Yeah, you're not getting that deep rest.
No.
So it really helps to bring that into. I've just worked on that. I want to just do the key things that I've found. So I've come down into your Earth Star Chakra now. I love this chakra because it not only connects you to the earth, but you're diffusing emotions through this chakra. And it's also connected to your Soul Star Chakra, which is above your head, which is about connecting to your spiritual purpose. So when these guys are working, it's kind of gridding you.
Right.
That's what it feels like when I do this, that I'm gridding people, anchoring them, gridding them, and kind of getting everything kind of into alignment. So there's a lot going on down here, and I really, in the last few years since I started working with this chakra, have only found 3 people that have an Earth Star chakra that doesn't need any work.
Wow.
So yeah. It's very powerful. It's a very powerful energy zone. So I'm just working on that now. It almost feels like you're not quite fully in your body right now. And I think that could also be a sign of the lack of sleep. So this will really help with grounding. So
I'm very rarely completely in my body.
Yeah, it's easy to do when you're so switched on.
Yeah.
Or tuned in.
I find grounding concepts unfun, but they're necessary.
Yeah. You know, most people do once they start moving into this energy, because I feel that people are called to this path. They don't really feel, a lot of people I find don't feel like they belong here, because they've come from other places. They know what it's like to be in our energy, and you know, they understand so much that they can't explain about this earth. It's a very dense place. But once you are in your body and grounded, the connection you have is actually, you begin to really feel it when you're not grounded. And it suddenly becomes kind of annoying if you're not feeling grounded, because then you can anchor everything inside of you, and you can be a lot more solid with what you do, and you can still travel and be spiritual, travel astrally, I mean, or whatever you do, wherever you go, whatever work you do. You can still do all of this, but then your body becomes your home. It becomes,
that makes sense.
You know, does that make sense? It's like your roots. It's very important, and you also will find that you can be a lot less reactive in a way, because you're able to maintain your center, which means when you're challenged, like we all are, you're a lot more sort of the observer rather than being caught up in things. And you can still react, but it's more an interaction from more of a place of power.
Right,
so, yeah, there's lots going on in this chakra. I can tell you don't like being in your body.
I know. Kicking and screaming. Always. That's why I related to your story so much.
Yeah, I think it seems to me a lot of people have it's an indigo concept, isn't it? In a way. I think indigos are very rebellious. They don't really want to be here, from what I've read about them. And I feel very indigo when I read the characteristics of an indigo. So I've just moved down, and your Earth Star chakra's on now.
Oh, yay.
Great.
I feel more grounded. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Good. I'm just moving around your energy field now. I'm just removing any negative energies from around your energy field, because they can also keep you from having a good night's sleep. So I'm just picking off what's called kind of like, you haven't got anything big, but like little entities. And I feel like when I explain to people about entities, they're a bit like fleas on a dog. They're parasites, and they're easy to pick up if you have like negative thoughts or emotions. They can come in on that vibration, but you can also clear them, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm just picking off anything that shouldn't be there.
Are they attracted to our light as well?
Probably, although they don't want you to evolve.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so
it's a paradigm.
Yeah, they can be attracted to light, but they get in on the cracks, like an emotional moment, a trauma, or maybe too much alcohol. You know, so they get in when we're vulnerable.
My birthday party was 2 days ago, so yeah, they got in there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
that.
Yeah. I just, this is, okay, a couple more. So what this will do is you'll be able to actually feel a lot more solid in your energy. You know, once these things go, they can't drain your energy, because they want your energy. They need your energy to to survive. I always say that they get sent up to entity rehab.
Sounds like a good place for them to go. So they actually that actually can make you feel tired then, having those things.
Really tired. And also, they want you to be upset. They want you to be angry. They're kind of weird. They're almost like their owners. You imagine that people have pets and they look like them. So say that some people have a tendency to get angry. Some people have a tendency to get kind of like into sort of a poor me mode. You know, we all have our little behavior patterns. So you kind of attract energies that resonate with that behavior pattern. It's actually fascinating. You know, wow. They have to come in on a frequency. So, yeah. Now, I'm in your hypothalamus now. Sorry. Yeah.
Is my hypothalamus is okay now? Is this what's happening?
I'm in it right now, so I just want to bring it back into alignment. So people ask me what I'm actually doing when I go into these spots, and the way I look at it is that we have negative thoughts and emotions that create energy, and that energy has to go somewhere. And for me, that can be a cause of disease. And I say it can be because also people can be born with genetic, people can already be born with problems. They can have genetic problems. So I don't want to say that we create all of our own diseases, because that would be really a linear way of looking at diseases. But it can be a cause. If you've been depressed all of your life, then where's that energy going? So it's good for me when I'm working on the body and I'm doing this work. What I want to do is remove and clear this kind of trapped emotion. And it's what I'm finding with women is I'm just on the thyroid now. It's usually the thyroid and the adrenals. The thyroid and the adrenals roll together. These guys somehow, I'm not a doctor, so I can't tell you the medical reason for this, but energetically I tend to find that if I'm looking at the thyroid and I haven't worked on someone before, that I then go into the adrenals. I'm just being told that I need to go to your stomach. Okay. I'm in one of your adrenals, but I'm being told your stomach's more important. I'm just going to finish.
Just so you know, by the way, there's no show behind you today, so we don't have a deadline. And so we'll make sure we have lots of shameless self-promotion time when you're done. So we've added lots of time to the clock.
Okay, great. That's good. So then I'll make sure I've got both adrenals done before I move into the stomach. What's going on with your stomach? Do you have some kind of acid reflux or something?
Well, first of all, I want to say you nailed it energetically as far as being able to pick up on that. I've got some major stuff going on in that area.
Okay. I want to check your gallbladder as well in a minute, actually.
Actually, that's gone.
No wonder I've been told about that. All right, so I actually heard the word gallbladder.
Missing in action.
I checked someone the other day and I said, wow, you're great down here. She said, I had a hysterectomy.
All clear.
Yeah. So it's funny how information comes,
Yes.
So I just want to make sure I'm in your nervous system before I go to the stomach. So the stomach, I call it the belly brain. I mean, it's got thinking cells in it. And for me, it's like, it's amazing. It's your brain, but it's your intuitive brain or your instinctive brain. And a lot of, stomach is, there's a lot of nerve endings all the way around the navel. And what I love about science and neurologists and what they're finding out right now is, it goes in a line with what mystics work on, because the nerve endings, there's more energy coming up from the stomach. This is something a neurologist told me. So I haven't Googled it, so I'm hoping that this information is correct. But this is what I heard, that there's more energy coming up from the stomach than down from the brain.
Oh, boy.
So it makes you realize how powerful our body is. and what it's telling you. I mean, you know when you don't like something, your stomach will tell you. If you're excited, you get butterflies.
Yeah.
And we've all felt sick, you know, shock is sick. I mean, your stomach's telling you all the time. So it's very important. So I'm just working on your stomach right now. It almost feels like it's a little bit tight or shrunk or something. You know, it feels like a hard knot.
Yep.
Not relaxed.
Yep, you're correct. I had some surgery.
Okay. So
Telling you, you're bang on. You're just totally nailing it. This is good. Yeah.
So I'm just.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm almost feeling, you know, I'm getting some sadness coming from here. So you've got an unhappy stomach.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'm going to check your intestines as well. Let's just do heart. So intestines. No, your intestines are okay. Bladder. What's going on with your bladder?
I don't know. It got better for a while, and then it got weird again.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just working with this now. It just, well, it's also an area where we transport a lot of toxins out.
Right.
So, you know, when I work with people's bladders, it doesn't surprise me if the bladder's off slightly. But, yeah, your bladder's not very happy right now. So I'm just clearing that. And I'm going to go up to your kidneys and just check your kidneys. Obviously.
This is remarkably thorough. Wow. This is very unique. Your process is very unique.
I've got a Virgo ascendant. I'm very anal.
Oh, awesome. This is an instance where that's good.
Yeah, I've got a very earthy kind of Virgo side that checks everything out. And for me, you know, it just makes sense to me to not only do the energy bodies and the chakras, but to go into this system, because this is where all your hormones are running. So this is all your feelings within your body.
Yeah.
So this endocrine system for me is so connected with sleep and how we roll and how we run. So, you know, that's why I go in there. And then if I get drawn to any other areas in the body, then I start to go into that as well. I do recommend also, after I've worked on people's bodies like this, that you get some kind of electrolytes or something. Because just to help yourself, sometimes people can go down a bit the next day or feel a bit heavy because there's a lot of energy's been moved. So I do say if you can support yourself over the next couple of days, fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm in the kidneys. So the kidneys aren't very happy either.
Unhappy kidneys. Oh dear.
Well, this is what I'm feeling with you. Let me know if I'm on the right track. But in Chinese medicine, the kidneys are where we store a lot of qi, a lot of reservoir. And if we're depleted energetically, then we start to bring energy from the kidneys. So for me, I kind of feel like you kind of run on this burning energy, because I worked on your nervous system and we've brought that back into alignment. I'm just checking this. This is another place where entities like to hide. So I'm just going to clear your I don't know why they love the nervous system. Maybe because there's so much going on here, you know. I mean, like, this is one of the most important parts of our body. So they get in there. They can play all kinds of games. So I'm just gone in there to really move through it. That's good. Okay, how are you feeling?
I feel very centered, grounded. You know when the lights get brighter and clearer, that kind of thing? I don't have a word for that. I feel that.
Good. I've just got my pendulum now. I've got two. I've got one I ask questions with and one I work with on the body. So I'm just asking if there's anywhere else I need to go right now in the body. Let's see if it's knees. Do you have problems with your knees?
My knees are horrifying. Recently,
Oh,
my arthritis started coming back in my
okay.
knees recently, and it came back with like this hellish intention. It's very, very challenging. I will find a cure for that, by the way. If you know anything, let me know.
The vagus, you know, I don't know. I actually sent an email because it was very uncanny that I got this information. But the vagus nerve, it's the nerve that runs from your brain, but it also goes into your heart. It's like a central nerve that runs down through your nervous system. And there's a lot of work being done around this that's helping with arthritis.
Oh.
Rheumatoid arthritis, though. Is it rheumatoid arthritis?
I think it's osteo.
It's osteo. Okay, so not the vagus. Well, I'm in the knees right now. I just want to take the tension out. It's also your hips.
Yeah,
your hips
the knees
are a little bit stressed as well.
The worst. Mm-hmm.
Ankles as well. So it's a lot of joint stuff going on here, isn't it?
Yeah, they've seen a lot of joints, but the only place where I'm kind of knocked over by it is the knees. It's really bad.
Okay. So, Manuka honey.
Manuka honey?
Honey's meant to really help. My mum's got osteoarthritis, so what helped her, my brother did some research, was vitamin D as well. She started taking vitamin D drops, and that eased it a little bit. So the vitamin D drops helped. And I remember reading up about Manuka honey, so I can't tell you too much about the details apart from it helps. It's alternative medicine here. I just remember that. So that might be something that you can help with. Okay, so I've just gone into that a little bit. Is there anywhere else with the arthritis? Okay, so I actually went into your ankles as well. And so the other thing I can do with you is give you a soul retrieval, if that's okay.
Yeah, tell me more about what that means.
Okay, it's so if you imagine that we're like a big ball of light, we make it really simple, and something happens. If you heard people say there's a big breakup, a relationship breakup, and someone says, I gave my heart and soul to that. You can give your heart and soul to your career, your children, it can go in all directions. So I'm getting family for you very strongly. Yes. But it can also be through trauma. We can lose energy through trauma. So basically a soul retrieval is recovering that energy. Like basically what I do is I tune in and I ask. And if I have a lot of people come to me for breakups and endings. And that's what the main thing I do is clearing hooks and cords. And, love always remains. What's in the heart remains. What's in the emotional body, and what we're sending to each other is not necessarily healthy on an emotional level. So that needs to be cleared. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just asking for a soul retrieval for you. And a soul retrieval is great because it will bring you obviously more energy. And if you're in any tricky situations with anyone else or anything else, it will help you regain a better perspective of it because you won't be so enmeshed is the word that I'm looking for.
Yes.
When I start to work with energy, sometimes my left brain stops working and I find it hard to speak after a while. So it's so funny if I have to write anything down afterwards. I can't spell.
Oh yeah, getting grounded back in. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of energy coming back now. I do get with you family in particular. There's some from work as well. I'm actually been told past life as well. I'm not sure what that's about. I haven't gone into it. But there's a lot coming back, which is really nice. I'm happy about that. So it's still coming through. There. I don't know if you can feel that, but there's just a different change. It's almost like everything's expanding.
I felt something in my solar plexus. Yes. Your energy's expanding right now. I get to feel it. Even if people can't feel this, I get to feel it. So I can tell you what's happening. But it's almost like you're expanding outwards and your bodies are
becoming a lot stronger. Now, and I'm also, do you mind if I give you an attunement? And the attunement is being able to live as a human on this earth. Okay, so it gives you more, it gives you human skills. I got that earlier when you were talking, that, you know, I sense that it's difficult for you to be here as it is many people.
Some human skills are probably handy. Let's do it.
Yeah, it just helps you adapt with the body, you know. So I'm just working on that's coming in now. Yeah, it's good. It went in very quickly. Just
I felt that one.
Breathe into your stomach. Yeah. Just breathe into your stomach. Yeah, it's anchored quite nicely. I feel like it went right into your body, which is good.
Yeah, I had like goosebumps.
Yeah. It will really, you know, these things integrate, and you don't necessarily notice them. You just look back and say, oh, I did that differently, or I didn't get triggered by that, or that was easier. You know, that's how it works usually with attunement. So
wow.
Yeah, and I think we're done.
I'm really glad we did that.
A kind of, you know, usually if I'm working with people, they have things and we go into other issues and things as well. But that's the nutshell of what I do. There's a system and structure to when I work on people, and that was it.
That was very, very helpful, because now like I can see that working great as an example of your work and having callers call it, because you work very uniquely and in-depthly. So that was good that we did that. Now I get it, what you do, and others do too, because they're all lined up on the board. So next time we can get Joan and we'll have you working with a caller, and that was amazing. But here's what we have to do, and we like to do in depth on the first go. Shameless self-promotion. It's our tradition here, talking about how people can work with you directly, what specials or anything you want to let people know about, all your contact info. This is your time.
Thank you. Well, what can I say for shameless self-promotion? Basically, everything's on my website. So I'll shamelessly promote my website. And I'll also say that I am teaching people how to do this themselves so that they can do this on their own bodies. The pendulum work and the bringing yourself back into alignment. And that's an online course, and it's nearly finished. I need to make one more movie for it. So that's another promotion. Oh, and I'm writing a book about my story, and it was starting with the ritual, but it's now gone into how I live my life with this personality disorder, because there are a lot of me, so it's quite interesting. And then it will also go back into energy as well, you know, how I fell in love with energy and you know, how I work with it. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Well, for those listening, Abigail is all linked up right now at newsforthesoul.com. And let's give out your website address as well, Abigail.
Yes, it's abigailsinsights.com.
And that's the name of the show. Hi. Starting next time, Abigail's Insights on News for the Soul. We'll open the lines and let it rip. So today was awesome, and it was just so great getting to know you or re-know you, whatever the case may be. I feel like you're family here already, and so great to have you here, Abigail.
Well, thank you. It was. I'm amazed at how you found me. So thank you so much for having me and finding me.
It's my pleasure and honor. And it's the upstairs team. I just listen and push buttons. It's great that we're all here doing it. So I look forward to our next time together, Abigail.
Me too.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now. Abigail Pattman. That was fun. Oh, my gosh. You know, I have a little system how we find the News for the Soul family members, and it's all intuitively driven, and I never get over the amazement of how it works and how brilliant it is. Oh, love it. So we are back. Let's see. Oh, it's Saturday. This is our first day opening up Saturdays, actually. We're just adding in some new programming in part of our expansion, 6 months' time, we start our 20th year in broadcasting. So you can find out all about that at newsforthesoul.com. And in the meantime, we'll be back with more right after this. This is Nicole Whitney, News for the Soul, life-changing talk radio from the uplifting to the unexplained. And it's a great honor to have you on the show tonight. Welcome, Deepak Chopra.
Thank you.
Yes, this is Uri.
Hi, Uri. It's Nicole Whitney calling News for the Soul. Welcome to News for the Soul, Robert Allen.
Thank you, Nicole. It's great to be here with you tonight.
Why are you